Now, throughout all this manager chat, the names that have been dished about, Lampard, Muscat, etc., etc., I've always had that one niggling question in the back of my brain, and I've been racking my brains ever since the manager talks came to fruition. I've just struggled to wrap my head around what Stephen Davis or the new manager are going to do about this massive flaw. How the fuck are we going to fix the fact that Beale's whole summer recruitment was based around a narrow 4-3-3? Now, obviously, on Thursday, we're back in the Europa League again, and we're up against Limassol. We're away to Limassol, and it's going to be interesting to see if there's any sort of, uptake and desire or intention throughout the squad. I mean, to be honest, I'm not saying for certain that Beale being in the door, caused a bit of demotivation amongst the squad, but, well, as soon as he's been booted out the door, we've already seen 2 confirmed cases where players have miraculously came off the injury list. I think the players are rumoured to be Raskin and Roof, which I'm not complaining about because they're 2 massive players, and that's not me saying that they're going to feature against Limassol, although I think either one of those players is actually going to feature in the squad. Now, obviously, Stephen Davis's main job is to kind of steady the ship until that new manager comes in. He's basically doing a handover, although Davis being about the club, and I know if I was personally in that position, I would probably look to try and make a dent and make an impression on that squad, get as much out of them as possible, to give any new potential manager that's watching the ability to see the players at the best they could possibly play under the circumstances. Now, we no doubt the fact that Davis has come in, and we've also got Alex Ray, there's going to be a few arse kickings and hard truths in that dressing room, but to be honest, again, I can't see anything in terms of tactically or the way we're playing much room for any dramatic changes, because as I said before, you can only do so much. Your hands are tied behind your back when it comes to that absolutely bonkers recruitment in the summer. As me and Kieran said in the previous podcast, if you want to go and check that out, it's on the channel. Any manager that comes in from now, you're kind of debating whether to give them a get out of jail free card because the recruitment was so bad in the summer. But then again, it isn't entirely impossible that the manager comes in and manages to get the best out of that group of players, including the new recruits. But to be honest, when it comes to the Limassol game and Stephen Davis, as I said, I can't really see much changing. It's very hard, not only because of the injury list that we've got, but because of the restrictions we have on play style in the squad and the type of players we have, and obviously certain players that we thought were key players but actually turned out to severely underperform. I mean, I'd be pretty confident in suggesting it's going to be a wee bit more of the same. But again, you never know. You know what it's like in previous clubs, whether it's at Rangers, whether it's anybody else. There's always that kind of uplift after a manager leaves, and there's that uncertainty over who's going to come in and who you need to impress. So there's also that slight chance there that the players are going to go out there and give their absolute best. Now, you could sit there and look at the Limassol's past games. I think they've won maybe one of the last 5 games, and I think if we were kind of our ship was stable, we'd probably be looking at that as a guaranteed 6 points. But at this stage of the season, and with previous performances and previous scars, you probably might think to yourself, we're going to make fucking hard work of it anyway, and you're probably right. But over the next 2 games, this game against Limassol and at the weekend against St Mirren, which by the way is going to be an extremely difficult game in itself, the number one thing I'm going to look at in those 2 games is to judge every single character in that squad throughout this rocky period. Obviously, with Beale going, any potential restrictions are let go. Davis seems to want to allow the players a little bit more freedom, so it'll be interesting to see how that comes across over the course of these 2 games. And obviously, for the players as well, you're going to be sitting in that squad thinking, fuck, I need to put in 100%, because the last thing you want to do is be completely wrote off with all the managerial candidates sitting there also judging us as well as us judging them and thinking, well, he's out, he's a player, he's gone, because it'd be completely demoralising turning up for training in the first day of a new manager coming in and you're already completely wrote off. Either that, you've got a massive mountain to climb, especially if we ended up with an absolute heat case like Muscat. Obviously, let me know if I'm right here, and let me know in the comments below if you agree with what I'm saying, but there's just this general feel over the course of this game and the next before a new manager's appointed of, the fans thinking, you know what, fuck it, let's just see how it goes. I think we're still in that stage, to be honest. They're sitting there completely relaxed, it's finally over, Beale's gone, we're just mellow, we've got a wee smirk on our face and we're like, fuck it, whatever happens. In my opinion, every time we're in this situation, it's an opportunity to wipe the slate clean, and in my opinion, there's players who definitely need to wipe the slate clean not only with the new manager but with the fans as well. You've got Tav, who's pretty much under, rightfully or wrongfully, a lot of scrutiny for fans. Does he keep the captaincy? Does he get stripped of the captaincy? I mean, to me there's only one person in that squad that's an actual candidate to have the captaincy, and that's the person with experience of the captaincy. I mean, there's Connor Goldson, but I guarantee if Tav lost the captaincy, Connor Goldson getting that armband would cause absolute uproar with the fans. Other players that need to wipe the slate clean, we've got Borna Barisic, we've definitely got Cyril Dessers. Cifuentes has got so much more to show to become the player that we actually thought we were going to get. Obviously Lammers has got to tidy up his control and work on his consistency as well. These are all players that before a ball was kicked we expected to be key in moving forward this season, and these are players that are going to be definitely under the microscope when a new manager comes in, because if we get the same performances out of those players from the Beale period and it's carried over into the new manager period, it's pretty much just going to make the minds up of Rangers fans. Now, in terms of my predictions for the next two games, I mean, I predict that we're of standard to win those two games with Stephen Davis as a manager. We've got a caretaker, big deal. We've still got the quality in the squad to be able to go and win these next two games. But obviously with a caretaker in charge, so much more pressure gets put on the players to make those performances happen. And under the current circumstances for each individual, those big performances absolutely need to happen. Now, before I head off, I just want to let you know that we're thinking of starting up memberships for the channel. We're going to be releasing details about that membership over the course of the next few videos. Obviously, memberships on YouTube are an amazing way to support creators, and to be honest, the only people that can give us that support is you lot, because without you lot, this channel doesn't really progress. We're very limited in what we can do and what we can't do. You know, we've got so many ideas, so many ambitions, and we can't wait to bring the ideas and the ambitions we've got to you. And obviously the only way we can reach those goals is with your support. So remember to keep an eye out for that announcement in the coming days. And just to sign off, let me know in the description below whether who your team will be, who your manager favourite's going to be, what way you think these two next games are going to go, and what you think about any of the opinions I've given throughout the video so far. Remember, all the links to our socials are in the description below, so if you want to head over there and give us a follow, that would be absolutely class, and we'll see you next time.